welcome Rachel Ball. She's going to talk to us tonight about Instagram. I know that is something that is new to a lot of people on our team, and some people have been using it for a couple of years now, but she's going to kind of walk us through the ABCs of Instagram tonight. I met Rachel on Facebook last year. She was in my 2-star group, and she finished the year out at 6-star or 7-star elite.
7-star elite. Yeah.
7-star elite, just like that. Bam. It was like she was like 2, and then all of a sudden she was 7. So ended up an elite coach in 2015. And let's see, you are the founder of the Fit Girl Dynasty. And her husband is Josh. How long have you been married?
8 years this June.
8 years. And they have a little boy. What's his name?
Griffin. He's 2.5, and we are expecting our second baby.
Congratulations. And how long have you been a coach?
Which is pretty exciting. So it's been incredible. I'm excited to do this for the rest of forever until I retire.
Definitely. What's your favorite part about being a coach?
I know this is kind of everybody's answer, but for sure the relationships. It's kind of crazy that as like a stay-at-home mom or wherever you're at in your life, whatever stage of life you're at, that you can connect with so many amazing people on the internet that then become your best friends. And it's like our circle just keeps growing, bigger and bigger. And it seems like the type of people that we attract as coaches are top notch. I've never met so many like genuine, positive, loving, awesome women that are inspirational. And it just seems like my bubble of, amazing people continues to grow. So for sure, it's the relationships for me, as I'm sure most of you guys can relate to, for sure.
Absolutely agree with you there. I've never worked with a more positive group of people who just inspire me every day to keep doing what I'm doing. So that's absolutely, I agree. All right, well, go ahead. I know you're on the East Coast, so it's late. So go ahead and get started and take it away.
I'm going to make this really simple because I know not everybody has actually. It can be intimidating to break into a new social media platform. I know that I started using Instagram before I became a coach, just a few months beforehand, and I'm glad that I kind of had that, starting off point before I became a coach. Because it can be intimidating to start your profile, get to using the program, and also try to run a business from it at the same point. So I'm going to try to kind of simplify what I've done with my Instagram, how I have built a following, how I've branded myself and my team. And I'm actually going to show you guys how to physically post something to Instagram. How hashtags work, because I used to make fun of people that used hashtags because I didn't understand how they worked. They just seemed annoying. I was one of those girls that would add I didn't get it. I didn't understand how Instagram worked. So I'll break down actually how it works, how often you should post. I'm also going to go into how to advertise for challenges and how to advertise for hiring new coaches or adding coaches to your team. Specifically how I find people on Instagram, which is kind of the secret sauce of how this works because we want to connect with people. And then lastly, how to utilize the direct messages aspect, which is kind of the hidden messenger portion on Instagram. So I'm going to break down all those things. So I'm going to share my screen. And then you can just interrupt me anytime you have questions. We can go through this together. So let's see. And of course, every time it has to install the plugin for my iPhone. I don't know why, but it's quick. Cancel. Okay, let's do this one more time. Share screen. Okay, can you see my phone
Yes, ma'am.
on your screen? Awesome. Okay, so this is Instagram, which it looks like they just changed their icon as of today, which is kind of fun. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is branding yourself, because that is super, super important on Instagram. On your Instagram, you are going to be labeled as something right away, right? People are going to look at your profile and they're going to get to know a little bit of information about you. So you better make that information count. So I tried to summarize a little bit about myself. I'm a wife and a mom. I'm a 7-star diamond health and fitness coach. I'm a beach lover. I love going to the beach. Fit Girl Dynasty founder, so that's my team name. I'm a Christian, so, God and spirituality is a big part of my life. I'm also a foodie. I really love food. And then I left my email address and my Facebook link. Instagram allows you to have one link on your profile, and a lot of coaches make the mistake of putting their direct link to their coaching website, which, if you know anything about marketing or branding, you need to have a landing point where people can get in contact with you before they have access to your online store. And the reason being is people who have access to your online store right away are going to jump the gun. They're going to click on that link and they're going to make assumptions about what you do, misassumptions. They're maybe not going to see the value in the product, and more likely than not, you're missing an opportunity to build a relationship with your customer or with your potential coach. And Instagram is all about building relationships. It's just done in a different way than on Facebook. I know that it's easy for us to get stuck in the mentality of what it's like to build a business on Facebook, and on Instagram, it's run really differently. Instagram is visual. People make split decisions, immediately. They're going to be scrolling through thousands of pictures, and they're going to immediately decide what they want to click on, what they want to like, what they want to read into. So you have to make sure that your brand is solid. You need to make sure that your profile picture, see mine right here, is clear. Most of us are moms or love traveling or have groups of friends. If your profile picture is not clear as to who you are, you're making a mistake in your business. So if it's a photo of your child, if it's a photo of you and your best friends, put a professional photo up on your page, because you want people to know who you are immediately. Here's one of the reasons. You're going to post photos like this one of you and your friends or your family or your coworkers. There is no way for somebody on this page, if they're just looking at this photo, to know which one I am, right? Unless they look back at my profile picture and they're like, oh, that's Rachel. Okay, cool. Because the whole point is you want people to feel connected to you as an individual right away. So part of that is the way that you brand yourself. My team colors are pink, Tiffany blue, a little bit of orange, and some coral and gold. So those are primarily the colors that you're going to see on my Instagram, because you want this to look like a cohesive scrapbook. You don't have to be a designer. You don't have to spend a lot of time on your posts. You just need to be consistent. So the first thing that I want you to think about is, who is your person? Who is your ideal coach? Who is your ideal customer? And I'll tell you a little bit about mine. And it's funny because it's going to sound a little bit like who I am. My ideal coach or customer is a mom. She has young children, 1 to 4 kids that are, still maybe toddler, preschool, elementary school ages. She's spunky. She loves girly stuff. She loves traveling. Those type of things are what I want to utilize in my posts, because I'm trying to speak to a specific person, right? So my posts need to show all those things. They need to show that I'm a mom. They need to show that I love traveling. They need to show that I love bright colors, those type of things. I really love ice cream. So you better believe you're going to see a lot of posts about ice cream on my Instagram. I really love food. All those things that go back to my profile, that kind of summary at the top, those are kind of guides as to what you want to say about yourself, what you want to be posting about, and what you want to actually be showing in your profile. So how to actually post on your page is something that we're going to go into before I start breaking out like how I advertise to people. So down at the bottom, they just changed the icons today, which is super helpful. But right here, if you can see, this is the little camera button. So if I were to click on the camera button, it brings up all the photos in, my profile. And for example, if I were going to post this picture of my son, which I'm not going to, it's something I sent to my husband, but it gives you the option of posting this photo. So we're just going to use this as an example. So I hit the next button. This allows you to click on different filters. So I can change the filter of the photo if I wanted to. Let's see. And then let's say I'm going to use this particular filter. One kind of marketing piece of advice is pick specific design elements that you're going to use over and over and over. If you use the same filter on your photos, it's going to make your photos look really cohesive. This is kind of random, but I always use pretty much the same shade of lipstick. I have like 2 or 3 different lip stains that I really love. But if I change the filter on my photos, it completely changes the color of my lipstick, which I don't want to do, which is funny. Because I want my photos to look like they go together in a scrapbook. So I'm going to use Juno, which I often use. I'm going to hit next. And this is where you would add your description and your hashtags. So your description needs to be something short and sweet and to the point, and I always end my description in a question. So for example, with this particular post, I'm not going to post a bath photo of my kid. It's just the first photo that was in there. But let's say I was, right? If I were going to post this about Griffin, my son, I might say something like, midday, adorable bath time, and then end with a question. Mamas, what are your most favorite kids' bath bubbles? Something like that. People love to give input on your photos, whether it's about a haircut that you're thinking about, products that you use, places you travel to, clothing stores that you shop at. People love to give input. So end in a kind of like a call to action question, if it's just something personal, right? Because that gets people posting on your picture, that gets people looking at your other pictures, that gets them invested in your life, and then they're going to be interested in following you. So here's my description, and now I'm going to follow up with hashtags. And the thing about Instagram is you are allowed 30 hashtags per photo, 30. This is where your photo is going to get listed under. So when people go to search for photos on Instagram at 2 in the morning when they're up feeding their baby, again, I'm in like new mom mode, right? So 2 a.m., they're up feeding their baby, they're on Instagram, they're going to click on certain hashtags. Maybe it's healthy recipe posts. Maybe it's weight loss. Maybe it's new baby products that they're looking at. Either way, these hashtags are what they're going to be clicking on. And then they're going to see basically a catalog of the most popular posts with that hashtag. Instagram recently made a change. It used to show you the most recent hashtags, like photos that use that hashtag. They've changed it so it's more like Facebook, in the sense that the posts that have the most likes or comments are the ones that are going to show up. So you want to make sure that you are using 30 hashtags on your photos, because if you think about it, let's say you're posting a job advertisement in a newspaper. If you post that job posting in one newspaper, you're only reaching a certain audience, right? Let's say there were 30 newspapers that you could post that advertisement in for free. Wouldn't you post them in all 30 newspapers? Like, it's a no-brainer, right? So you want to use 30 hashtags because then your photo is being listed under 30 different categories. That just gives you an opportunity to have more exposure to what you're posting. This is just a tidbit of safety on Instagram. When I post a photo of my child and I'm not in the photo, I don't use any hashtags. The reason why I do that is because that makes it so that photo isn't listed. It's literally not posted on the internet to where people could click the hashtag and see a picture of my son. It is, however, on my profile. Does that make sense? So it's kind of like a little barrier where I can keep some photos more private to where people have to actually be on my page to see it, as opposed to me listing it 30 different places on Instagram. So we'll pretend, again, this isn't of Griffin. So I'm going to say travel photo. These are just, some hashtags that I have saved in here that I use kind of frequently. But you could type in anything. And it's kind of nice because when you start to type something, it's going to bring up popular hashtags, and it's going to tell you how many posts there are currently using that hashtag. So using the hashtag beach has a whole lot of hashtags. There's kind of some good sides and bad sides to using popular hashtags. When you use popular hashtags, that means a lot of people look up that hashtag, which is great. The downside is your photo is going to get buried by all of these other hashtags. So I try to look for hashtags that are kind of in the middle, like ones that people would think of to look up, but they aren't like so generic that everybody uses that hashtag, right? So let's pretend that I came up with 30 different hashtags. And then I'm not going to post this for real, but you would, if you wanted to share it to Facebook, which I normally do, you would click on the Facebook button. If you want to share it to Twitter, you can click Twitter. So you can connect all your different, social media platforms. You can tag people in the photo. You can add a location. And then you'd click OK, and it would be live on your profile, right? So I'm going to...
Do you use that? Someone told me, one of my coaches actually told me about this app called Hash Me. Have you ever used that app?
I haven't used that one. I've used, I think it's Tag for Likes. They may have changed their name. Is that kind of where they tell you the most popular hashtag to use?
You put in a topic, and then it'll give you like the top 30 or something. I mean, but I was like, when I first started using Instagram, I was the same way. I was like, oh, it's hashtags. Those are stupid. I was like, what in the world? I didn't understand how it worked.
Right.
When I started using this app, which, like I said, for about a week or so now. And I would get like 15, 20, 25 likes on something. Now I'm getting 50, 60 likes on something. So, I mean,
the hashtags you use are important. If you use some random hashtag that nobody's going to look up, nobody's going to see it. If you use a hashtag that is maybe oversaturated, maybe they don't see it either. So apps like that are really helpful, just because I don't know what it is. We get to post a photo and all of a sudden we have no idea like what hashtags to use. We're like, bubble bath? I don't know. So that's a really good app to use. Tag for Likes is what I have used. And then you can just copy post. So you always want to put your hashtags into this original post right when you post it, because that is the only time that they will be live on your photo. If you go in later and add hashtags, it's not going to throw your photo back in the queue. Does that make sense?
Right.
So it's at the time that you post. A cool feature is, do you see new posts at the top? This is where you can determine if you want this to be a new post on your page, or if you want to send a direct message to somebody, which I will show you guys again in a minute. When I talk about utilizing direct messages. A direct message is essentially sending somebody a photo to their little inbox, the little message. And that can be where you send your hey girls, that can be when you send a compliment to somebody, but we'll go into that in a minute. But that's where it is, the new post right here. And then you'd click share. So I'm going to go back because that's not something that I want to actually have on my Instagram. cancel. How often to post? My recommendation, which I don't always follow, but my recommendation is posting 3 to 5 times per day, which may sound like a lot, but you want to make sure that you or content that I really want to be seen on my page, I slow down the amount that I post. Because let's face it, let's say you spend 2 hours on Now Hiring post, you post it, and then you bury it yourself with other posts. So let's say you post something really awesome, and then you post 5 more times that day, and then 5 times the next day. All of a sudden, it's at the bottom of your page. So the very top of your profile is what people are going to see the most often. They're going to decide if they want to keep scrolling. So these 6 photos at the very top of your page better really speak who you are as a person. So on Sunday, I announced that we're expecting our second child. And so I've kind of slowed down my posting to like 1 post a day since then, just because I wanted these, 6 photos to kind of chill on my page, for like simmer there for a little while. The things that I generally post about, I refer to like my 5 F's. F is in Frank. Friends, family, faith, fitness, and fun. Those are my 5 go-tos. So you're going to see me posting about things that are fun, things that are family related, some fitness related things. That means coaching, right? Faith, so maybe some, things about church or uplifting messages. But I'm definitely going to keep a good balance between my posts. So if you're looking at the top of my page, I really follow through with that. Here's a post about friends, family, travel and coaching, Transformation Tuesday, invitation to my challenge, coaching, food, coaching, food. I talked about, planting blueberries and stuff. So that's kind of family, personal stuff. Coaching, family. This was Mother's Day. I've done some recent posts about how I've been feeling since I'm newly pregnant. And then I have a now hiring type of join my team type of a post. So you want to keep a really good balance. So when I look at my page, for example, tonight when I was thinking about this team call, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't have a now hiring post in my top 9 photos on my page. My recommendation is to always have a join my team type of a post in your top 9 photos. If you're posting 3 to 5 times per day, what does that tell you about how often you need to post a now hiring post? That's like every other day, right? And some of us only post those once a month, once every 2 months, right? It's easy to get in the habit of feeling like we're putting our message out there really frequently when we're really not. So make sure that you, every 9 photos, have a picture that is something specific. I'm not talking about breadcrumbs where you talk about how amazing coaching is. I'm talking about a specific now hiring post. And this one is very specific, even though it doesn't say now hiring on it. It talks about all of my passions, all the things that I love about coaching, and I have a very specific, being recruited to be a coach was the best gift I have ever been given. I want others to be happy, healthy, secure, and confident. My business has given me all those things. If you want a career that you're passionate about, leave your email below and I can help. So this is a very specific now hiring post, right? It's shocking how we can feel like we're putting our message out there every second of every day, and yet people still miss it, right? I recently had a girl, this is just a side story. I recently had a girl who was one of my first customers ever in 2014, one of my first customers. She messaged me because I had posted this particular post that specifically said the words hiring on it. This was 2 weeks ago. I specifically posted this on a whim because I was like, I wanted to use this template, this Rona design template. and I was putting all of my coaches' faces in there, and I just was trying to figure out a word that would work, and I was like, I'll put hiring in there, and then I turned it into a now hiring post. So it was kind of unintentional. She messaged me and she said, Rachel, I have been waiting to become a coach, but I hadn't seen you post that you were hiring recently. And I'm the girl that I post that I'm hiring at least once a week. 1 to 5 times per week I post that I'm hiring, depending on what goals I'm going after. This customer of mine had no idea. For some reason, she had no, I mean, look, I had just posted this, the same one that I posted tonight. For some reason, she had no idea that I was actually looking for coaches because I didn't have a post specifically right at the time she was looking that said hiring on it. I was shocked.
Wow.
And take it a step further, she was contacted by another coach on a different team, and if not, you should join my team. And so this girl was like, well, I really want to work with Rachel, but I don't know that she's hiring. So she went to my social media. She didn't see anything. So she said, oh, okay, she must not be hiring. I'll sign up through you, which is bogus, right? We all know that. Like we're always adding to our team. And she was going through the sign up process with this other coach that was trying to kind of, steal my customer. Anyway, she was signing up with this other coach when she saw me post this hiring. And she was like, oh, I've been waiting for this. I had no idea. So she ended up joining my team. So just don't assume that you are putting your message out there as much as you need to be for some people. Because some people, it will take this photo where it says, do more of what you love. Some people, it's going to take them seeing, something that specifically says hiring. You never know what it's going to take because the thing about Instagram is it's all visual. So people don't know what your message is unless they click on it. So anyway, my tips for standing out that I wanted to go over are 1, look professional. Look professional in every way possible when you're posting on your social media, because this is your storefront. This is where people are getting the first glimpse into who you are as a person, how you run your business, how you interact with people. They're going to make assumptions about you. So look professional. My other piece of advice is be legible. Have your posts be so readable that people are not going to, scroll through these photos and not be able to see what it says. Do more of what you love. Is it pretty font? No. Is it a fun color? No. But you can read it, right? And that's the whole point. So my photos where I don't care if people read it, like for example, this one, I got my 7-star jacket in the mail. I don't care if people read the number 7. Like it was just fun and pretty and I had space that I needed to fill. So those are the type of posts where I can use gold letters or I can add little embellishments because that's not the point of the photo, right? Because the thing is people are going to be reading, they're going to be scrolling, and they're going to make a split decision whether or not they should click on your photo. So my posts that are, the most important, I want them to be really, really, really easily read. And then the last thing is kind of the same thing, be obvious. So honestly, I didn't think that this now hiring post was obvious. If you're scrolling, I can't even read that. I can't even read hiring. But for some reason, it was obvious enough to her. Plus, she was on Facebook, so the photo was bigger, probably. But even when you feel like your message is really crystal clear, be even more obvious. Talk to people as if they know nothing about the business. Talk to people in your post, your description, as if they had no idea that they could do this. You have to continue to regurgitate your message in a way that's really clear because you never know if it's the first photo that they've clicked on of yours or your 50th, right? So your message needs to be fresh and crystal clear every single time. That means telling your story 3 to 5 times per day, right? That's where those breadcrumbs come to play. For example, I posted 2 nights ago how I've been having really bad morning sickness. And here was a breadcrumb that I left. I said, in the meantime, I'm just grateful for this little human I'm growing and that my job is so flexible and all from home. So if somebody clicks on that post, yeah, they discover that I have morning sickness, but they also are hearing that I work from home, right? So I leave little breadcrumbs in every single thing that I post. Whether it's about getting to spend time with my son or my friends, on a Tuesday afternoon at the park where my previous life I'd be working and my kids should be in daycare, those type of things. So leave those little obvious things because people don't know your story. You need to tell them multiple times. I'm going to go into how I advertise for challenges because this is actually really fun. And I apologize, this is kind of a poor example, but being newly pregnant, I reused a post from last year. And I felt like it was creative and I felt like it was aesthetically pleasing, but to be honest, it's too busy for Instagram. So I'll go and I'll show you a different example in a minute, but this was my advertisement for my May Mommy Makeover. And my first piece of advice when you advertise for a challenge, and I'm talking those like obvious posts, right? The join my challenge type posts. This post in particular, I am speaking to my person, which I told you is a mom, right? So I was essentially talking to myself before I joined Beachbody, before I did my first challenge, things that I would have needed. So Mommy Makeover, regain your confidence, increase your energy, get your flat tummy back. That was huge to me because I had postpartum major mom tummy going. 30-minute exercises from home, no gym, accountability, nutritional and meal plan support. And then I said, lose weight and inches and get healthy. And then I used a little professional photo again. Like if you're going to use a photo of yourself for an official advertisement, it's worth your money to spend $70 on a Groupon to get some professional photos of yourself because Instagram, you're competing with so many images. It just looks more crisp if you're using a photo of yourself that's professional as opposed to a selfie in your bathroom where the lighting's really poor. There's a time and a place for that, but for me personally, my really specific challenge invites or now hiring posts, I try to use more professional looking photos, if that makes sense. So you want to be specific, and then you always want to, I do say less is more now. Again, this is very content heavy, but for some reason the photo has still attracted a lot of people. So there must be something good about it. I always say use at least one before and after photo. Always use photos of people that you know. I think that other industries get too comfortable just Googling a before and after photo and putting it up and saying that it's their product. It gives us credibility if you're using before and after photos of your challengers, your coaches, your sister coaches. So I always tell my team, you better know that person that's in that photo because when people ask you about it, you need to be able to say, yeah, that was my, one of my coaches. Is Jen. She recently did X, Y, and Z. This is what worked for her. This is how I know it's going to work for you if it's not yourself, right? So I give a little description about what this Mommy Makeover Challenge is, and you can call it anything. It can be any type of a challenge. We know that. I always say that I have a specific number of spots available because that makes it feel exclusive. You're getting a special invite essentially, and it's limited because my time is important and I want to take on a certain number of customers. So I always have a number. And yes, every single slot that gets taken, I count down that number. I share a little bit about myself. So not only have I lost 40 pounds and maintained that weight loss since last year, but this is a lifestyle change. It's going to make you feel good. I give them a little sneak peek into what they can expect. So participants can expect 30 minutes of exercise, what type of exercise it is. There's no counting calories, no starving. This is not a fad diet. And I mentioned that the results are guaranteed, right? We have the 30-day money-back guarantee on products. I say they'll get support from other moms and that they're eligible for prizes, which is for fun. I also keep in mind who I'm talking to. My audience is new moms, right? That means I need to talk about breastfeeding because I get that question a lot. So this is safe while breastfeeding, but I also say it's perfect for mommies of all ages. And then I kind of give a reiteration of the invite. So ladies, come get fit with us. And then lastly, I say comment below with your email if you would like more information. So this is where people then comment below. You can see they'll comment with their emails, and then I get in contact with them via my Beachbody email, not the one through teambeachbody.com, but my Gmail account that I use for coaching. So then I transfer to the conversation, and I'm just going to show you guys so you can really truly duplicate this. Let's look for, sorry, wrong email. May Mommy Makeover. So I have kind of a generic email that I send, first time around that basically says our start date, how our challenge is going to work, and ours, we actually have a cash prize currently. So I explain that. And then I say the program that most participants use is the 21-day fix, explain what's included. And then I end by asking what their goals are. What are your current health and fitness goals? What do you struggle with? And what are you looking to improve? I want to know exactly how I can help. So people then email me back and they give me their goals. They tell me what they're looking to do. They ask some questions. They usually ask the price of the program. And then I go into connecting with them and building value as to what the 21-day fix or PIO or whatever it is can actually offer that person, right? So that's when you switch into building a relationship. And that's how we get people to join our challenges. Does that make sense as far as how I do that?
Absolutely.
Probably pretty similar to how you guys do it. I like transferring the conversation to email. It just works for me. Some people get them added on Facebook right away. Some people use the direct messages aspect of Instagram. I am kind of old-fashioned and would prefer to just go through email, but do whatever works for you. So that was one of my challenge posts. The other way that I invite to challenges is through things like Transformation Tuesday posts. I use this as an opportunity to circle back around and say, hey, you can do this too, right? So I shared this about one of my coaches. This is Carrie, and she recently had just a crazy awesome transformation with hammer and chisel. And so at the end, after I talked about Carrie, I said, I have 7 available spots for my next fitness challenge, and we're kicking off in 2 weeks. It's time to make yourself a priority and feel ready for summer. Please comment below with your email address. So it's just a different way where people love transformation photos, right? But you're missing an opportunity if you're not circling back around and being like, you can do this too, right? So talk about your next challenge. If it's a week away, if it's 3 weeks away, if you're in the middle of a challenge and you have a challenge next month, whenever it is, circle back around and invite people, right? How to advertise for coaches. I kind of already showed you a couple. There are so many different ways to do it. The most important part is that you're doing it frequently. Because like I said, I've had this challenger for almost 2 years, and the girl didn't know that I was adding coaches to my team, which seems crazy to me, right? Like knowing how often I post, the things that I post, it just goes to show that people see a really limited amount of our posts online. They just do. Unless they're up at night actually clicking on every single post, which some of us do on people, it's people are going to only see a small portion of it. So
right, because you're thinking of everything that you're posting, that's what's stuck in your head. You're like, oh, well, I just did that. You know, I don't want to like overdo it because you're, like I said, you're the one posting it, but I get what you're saying. Absolutely. It makes sense. And I'm sure I don't post enough.
Well, think about like how many, not the people that you stalk on social media, because we all have a few people that we do, so we know every aspect of their life. Mm-hmm. But one of my best friends, I didn't know she was pregnant until she was 7 months pregnant this year.
Wow.
And I was mortified. But it's just because our social medias are so jam-packed with so many people. Even though she was posting daily about being pregnant, I didn't think to go click on her page until I saw a post just randomly. It was just coincidence that I was online right when her post came up, and I was like, she's pregnant and I didn't even know this. So how often are people actually seeing your posts, right? So that's why the 3 to 5 times per day, cycling through really good posts. I reuse my best posts over and over and over. And what I do is I delete the last time I used it. Because if people are seeing that message, there's statistically speaking that people need to see a message, I think it's 22 times before it changes in their mind to them not even noticing it, to them deciding that it's a good idea.
Or you delete the old one. Okay, I had never thought about that, actually.
So don't exhaust yourself thinking that you need to come up with all these brilliant new ideas. Reuse them and delete them. So this one that I posted tonight, I posted it right before we started this call. I'm going to go back and I'm going to delete this one right here. So it doesn't even look like it was duplicated. I'm just going to delete it.
Gotcha.
So it's those now hiring posts. It's those, invites to your challenges that you repost, because let's face it, sometimes it's Wednesday night. I posted this and so far I haven't gotten any comments on this. So maybe I posted it at a crummy time. This might just not be the right time to post it. I might delete this and repost this in an hour and a half. You know what I mean? Like little tweaks. Don't spend a lot of time on a post and then get discouraged that it didn't get a lot of likes or any comments. Reuse it. Okay. Use that post multiple times. And then fill it, with other things. And then if something doesn't look great on your page, delete it. I had a post earlier where I had my hair up in a towel and it just looked crummy and it was there for 2 or 3 days. I finally deleted it yesterday and I'm like, oh, my page looks better. So what's nice is don't think that everything's permanent on your page. Because again, there are specific times of day and days in particular that are better for, your posts on your social media, and they're not always going to stay the same. I have had Friday nights at 6 p.m. I'm going to take my sweater off because I'm boiling. There have been Friday nights at 6 p.m. where I've posted a now hiring and I've gotten 20 applicants. There will be another Friday where I'll post pretty much the same thing and I won't get a single person to respond. So sometimes you just need to tweak your post a little bit or tweak the time that you've posted it and just repost that photo, whatever it is. I do that all the time. It works the same way with my now hiring type posts where I transfer the conversation to email. So I always ask them, like this one was really specific, like, are you passionate about health and fitness? Do you love social media? Do you want to inspire, motivate, and support others in health and fitness journeys? It was like a cliche, like, we're hiring, blah, blah, blah. Because you never know what's going to be. Again, this coach of mine needed something this specific to know that I was hiring. Anyway, you can just carry on the conversation in your email. So I always say at the bottom, to apply, please comment below with your email address or send an email to rachelballfitness@gmail.com. Some people are not comfortable leaving their emails for you on your social media, or maybe they're afraid to show that they're interested. I've had that happen a lot on Facebook. So I always leave my email. And again, that's why on my profile at the very top, it has my email, because I'll get emails out of the blue from people that have been watching my posts for 1.5 years, where they've never liked anything, they've never commented, and all of a sudden they'll send me an email and they'll be like, I'm ready to be a coach. And I'm so glad that I've left my email and my Facebook, because it's a way for them to connect with me as opposed to connecting to a storefront, right? Like there's only so much they can connect with there, which I talked about at the beginning of the call, but make sure that people have a way to get in contact with you. Do you have any questions about the now hiring posts before I move on?
No, you're doing great.
Okay. It's pretty straightforward. Okay, so I want to talk about how you find people on Instagram, because this is huge. Your following on Instagram is kind of everything, to be honest. And the way that you build a following is by initiating it first. So what I do is I search for specific hashtags. So I just clicked on the search icon at the bottom. And I'm going to click on tags. And again, my girl is a new mom. So I'm going to search for a hashtag that is not super saturated with like people selling stuff, like It Works, Beachbody Coaches, whatever. Because a lot of hashtags that we think of, make sure you look at the tags and see what gets pulled up, because you'll be shocked how many people are selling things and using that hashtag. So one of my favorite hashtags, which I'm giving you a secret, is baby wearing. Like when moms actually like use a wrap to wear their babies, because it's not heavily saturated with people selling things. Oh, look at this mama on a pole. That's crazy. So that is baby wearing to a whole another level.
That's extreme baby wearing.
Yes, extreme baby wearing. So it's going to pull up the top posts. These are the 9 photos that have, or videos that have the most likes or comments. I'm not surprised that this one has a lot of likes and comments because I want to click on it so badly. Anyway, you're going to scroll, and then it shows the most recent that have a fair amount of likes, right? And again, you'll know what quality hashtags are because you'll click on it and it's all that photo. Like I'm not seeing wraps. I'm not seeing transformation photos. I'm seeing legit mamas wearing their babies, which I love. So this is how I gain a following. So I look at this and I just click on a couple photos of people that I feel like I could connect with. And I do not take time doing this. Like I do it really quickly. So this is, when I'm watching a movie with my husband, which is not great, balancing my life. But, those times where you're like multitasking, we're driving in the car somewhere and I'm not driving. So I'm going to click on this photo because this mom looks really cute. And I like her decoration back here, and that baby, you can tell, is just super cute. So what I'm going to do is I follow the 5-3-1 rule. This is a statistic. For every 5 photos that you like of someone's, you also want to make 3 comments on their photos. You are in turn going to get 1 follower. 5 likes, 3 comments equals 1 follower. That's a lot. You're putting yourself out there for sure in order to get 1 follower. So I clicked on Michaela, looks like, her post. So I'm going to like this post. I'm going to now click on her profile. Oh my gosh, cute, right? Like cutest profile ever. I'm going to like 5 of her photos just by double tapping. There's 2.
Don't you like it when other Beachbody coaches pull the 5-3-1 on you?
Oh yeah, and it happens a lot. There's
random comments that don't even match up with the picture. Like I know
beautiful.
Some beautiful picture and it's a video about something.
So these are just so stinking adorable. I could like any of them. So I just liked 5 of her pictures. Wouldn't it be funny if she ends up being a coach and watching this video? Okay, so I just liked 5 of her photos. I'm going to comment 3 times. Make it genuine, right? I have no goals of making this girl a coach. Like I want to connect with her. And legitimately, I'm really excited for my next baby to figure out the whole baby wearing thing. Like legitimately I am. So let's see. I can't wait to figure out the whole baby art. My next baby. So I just said, I can't wait to figure out the whole baby wearing art with my next baby. You've got it down. Clearly she does, right? So there's a comment. It's from me. I'm an actual human being, and this is me connecting with her. Who knows? Maybe she lives in Scandinavia. I have no idea. But I'm making a connection, right? This looks hilarious because I see the word boobs. Do your boobs just ever randomly ache and you're like, I'm going to say, this is hilarious. Because I have a sense of humor, right? So anyway, I've commented twice. I would comment one more time. Oh my gosh, I actually have this. This is exactly what I'm looking into with a new stroller. See how I'm adding a question? It's going to get a conversation going, right? Whether she becomes somebody I never talk to again, a new friend of mine, it's all better than just leaving it, right? So this is creating a connection. 531 allows you to make a connection without looking like a stalker. I'm not going and stalking every photo, right? And then to seal the deal, this is the last thing that I do, I'm going to follow her. Because the best way for you to gain a follower is by following them first. But I didn't just do that. I'm not just a name, just a number. I commented, right? I commented, I liked photos. And so now what is she going to do? She's going to go to my page. Like 99.9% of all humans will now go to my page, right? Do you ever do that? People that leave comments, even if they're stupid comments, you always click on their page.
Yeah.
Oh, wait.
Right.
So anyway, she'll now probably go to my page and see, she might be like, oh, she's one of those health and fitness coaches. Bye. You never know. Or she might follow me, right? She might comment back about her stroller, and then we can get a conversation going about that. So what's fun about your Instagram is you want to make it about you, which is an obvious thing. And mine is now transitioning into I'm newly pregnant, right? So my posts are about that. That's who I want to connect with. I want to connect with other moms that are on their second, third baby in the first trimester, because that's what I'm thinking about. That's what I'm talking about. I'm starting to look into new products. I'm starting to look into what life will be like with a toddler and a new baby. So whatever phase of life you're in, if you're spending, 10 hours a week at soccer practice with your kids, look up other moms that are doing the same thing. You know what I mean? Make a connection with people that are in your same phase of life, and we'll all connect with people that are a little bit different from ourselves. Variety is good. Diversity is good. But it just is more effortless if it's people that, you are in the same phase of life with, right? So that's how I find people on Instagram. I always follow the 531 rule. And then I'm going to show you one more thing, and that's the direct messages aspect of Instagram. So I already showed you that when you're posting a photo, you can choose to either post it to your page or to a person, right? So this was something cool that happened last week, or I guess a week and a half ago. Let me find her. Okay, so this girl's name is Stephanie, and I commented on her page. You can tell we've had a lot of conversations. We did a lot of relationship building. There was a cute picture of her on her Instagram, and I commented something simple. I said, what a beautiful life you have, because I was genuine. I was like, oh my gosh, this girl has such a beautiful life. So that's what I said. She sent me a direct message, which I was really touched by. So she said, I've been going through a lot of hard things and struggling with self-esteem. And when I read your comment, it really made a difference to me. She also saw that I was struggling to get pregnant, because that was something that I had posted about and opened up about. So she said that she would be praying for me. She had just said that she had just had her baby, and that she was trying to get on track with her fitness because she had just had a new baby. And she had just moved to the States from Guatemala, which I didn't know at this point. She said, you remind me of a friend I had back in Guatemala. So really sweet girl. I was super touched. And honestly, truly 100%, I had no intention of selling anything to her. I had no intention of making her a coach. I was just super touched to have a new friend. And that's always what this needs to start with, is those genuine feelings of just wanting to connect with another human being and being so happy if it only stays at that, right? So I messaged her back and I was like, your message really meant a lot to me. And I said, I definitely try to spread positivity, and I'm really happy that my comment came just at the right time. And I said, I'm pretty transparent about my life. And I mentioned to her, I was like, the crazy part is, a week after I posted that I wasn't pregnant, I found that I am. So I told this total stranger, I hadn't even told my brother yet that I was pregnant. I told her because we made the connection, right? And so we started talking, and I said, I'd love to help you in any way possible. I know it's hard to regain your confidence after having babies. So I'm going to kind of fast forward. She mentions to me randomly that money has been hard, and she just moved to the States to Georgia, which is where my husband was stationed the first 2 years that we were married. So her and her husband just moved from Guatemala to Georgia, and she's looking for a job online. And I'm like, ding, 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 cue coaching, right? This could be perfect. So we talked more about our life, and then I just felt like I needed to mention that there is something out there that she could potentially do. So I said, she mentioned she was looking for something online, and I said, literally no pressure. I have no ulterior motive, but I work for Beachbody as an online health and fitness coach. And I started telling her about what I do. And so we transferred the conversation to email, because again, that's easiest for me. So I asked what her email was. I explained what I do, and she signed up to be a coach last week. And I already have such a strong connection with this girl just based on one comment that I made on Instagram. One comment, and she messaged me. So you just never know how your comments are going to impact other people. I don't know why my screen is frozen. But utilizing those direct messages can be huge for your business, because you can plant a seed where you can start a relationship. What I do a lot through direct messages is I just send a compliment. It has nothing to do with coaching, nothing at all. I do it a lot with people that comment or post on my page, like new followers, and then just to kind of like build that relationship more. And then I also do it like when I'm scrolling, like I looked up, the hashtag baby wearing. I just send a compliment. And so if somebody has really awesome lipstick, I tell them. So I send a direct message, and I'm like, hey, I'm kind of a lipstick junkie. I really, really love like your lip color. Where did you get it? And again, it's with the attitude of, if it only leads to them telling me what brand of lipstick they use, that's fine with me. That's 100% fine. And I feel like I'm blessed and better for having that connection, even on that level. And it just leads to growing your team, growing your business, and having, like what I talked about in the beginning, is that connection with people. Because I really feel like coaching, this is totally a random point, but coaching just magnifies who you are as a person. So if you have a good heart, if you love people, if you love helping other people, it's going to be magnified through the way that you run your business. If you're looking for quick fixes, if you're looking to just make $50 off of somebody and 2 successful points, it's going to show in the way that you run your business. So use your Instagram as a reflection of who you are. Realize that these people are people. They're not just a profile, which is so easy to do, right? It's really easy to just see them as successful points or a profile, and just figure out a way to genuinely connect with people. So that's my Instagram info for you.
Yay! No, that was wonderful, and I absolutely agree with you. Someone had told me that a long time ago. If you're feeling like you want to compliment somebody on something, if you like the way they, again, the shade of lipstick they're wearing, whatever it is, tell them.
Yep.
Because how do you feel when someone compliments you about something? Why should you hold back a compliment? So no, I absolutely agree. And it feels good to make other people feel good. It just does.
Yeah, and the more personally you can get, I learned, in a psychology class, that when you pay compliments, try to not compliment an item or a piece of clothing, compliment the person, right? So like, I love your shade of lipstick. It looks so good on you. Where did you get it? Make it personal, because people will be really receptive to that, because we don't hear personal compliments very often. It's like, hey, I like your car. And you're like, thanks, it's a nice car,
I remember that too. I know exactly what you're saying. Instead of, I like your shirt, that shirt looks beautiful on you.
Yes. Or that color looks excellent on you.
It's about
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. So make it about the people and then share that through your Instagram. So it takes a lot of time in the beginning to build a following. It just does. It takes time. It takes effort. You're going to get a lot of people that respond to you in a positive way. You might get a couple people that don't. I feel like 3 years ago, we could send those hey girl messages that were direct and to the point, like, hey girl, I love your profile. You're inspiring. You should be a coach, right? I feel like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, that was okay because not very many people were doing it. So it seemed genuine, right? But the bigger our company gets, people are getting those all the time. That's why people put in their profile, no wraps, no shakes, no sales. That's why they put that front up, because people always think that other people are looking to sell to them or make $1 off of them or profit off of them. So be the different type of coach that really truly is like, I just want a friend. And then your team will grow because they're going to want to join you. So that's what, Instagram is all about. It's my number one platform that I use for my business. Facebook is kind of overflow and where I support people, but building your cold market, I didn't even mention this, but building your cold market from the get-go is huge for the longevity of your business. Because if you are just living in your little circle and bubble of your friends and family and their friends and family, it's going to tap out at some point. And so you need to be building your cold market from the beginning, even if it takes a while. It might be slow and steady, but if you gain a follower every single day, that's 300 followers a year or more, right? So by the time you run out of your, warm market, you're going to have warm bodies. Those people are going to get warm. So build it slow and steady, and that's, great way to do it.
How long did it take you to get up to 13,000? I mean, those are all like organic followers.
I started building my following in October of 2014.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I had
a year and a half.
A year and a half. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I've had an Instagram account, but you're gonna laugh at me. When I first got an Instagram, and this is way back before I was a Beachbody coach, I just thought it was like some kind of photo editing thing.
Yeah, so did I. I thought it was just filters.
I was never. I was like never. And then like one day I was like, oh, I can go live. What is this? And I was like, okay. And then my profile was private for a long time, and I didn't even know it. Again, I just feel so. I guess
that's another thing though. Make sure your profile is public. I didn't say that. Yeah, it has to be public. Otherwise, like you're posting and your door is closed.
Doesn't matter.
Like it's like your storefront has, the shades pulled down and the door's locked, but your clothing is amazing inside. Like it doesn't do you any good. So
I always tell my coaches that on Facebook too. They'll still like just share to friends, and I'm like, okay, that's an excellent post. Now go fix it and make it public.
Yeah, this is a business. So.
And if you send something to Facebook through Instagram, it's automatically just going to be friends of friends. Isn't that right?
Yep. That's another good point. So I go in and I edit it to be public, or I post twice. So make sure you're checking how many people are seeing that. There's also a feature on Instagram where you can see all of your Facebook friends, and then you can make sure that you're like following them. It's in the settings.
Okay. I was going to say, I think I tried to like follow everyone before or something, and it wouldn't like sync. I don't know. It's probably because the app wasn't like up.
Yeah. And there are apps to run your Instagram. That's kind of a conversation for another day as far as like managing, because you're only allowed to follow up to 7,500 people. And I don't know if you saw my numbers. I'm currently following 6,366 people. So I'm constantly having to go unfollow people to make room for more people to follow. So I have an app, it's called Crowdfire, and that's how I unfollow people, so that it's only unfollowing individuals that no longer follow me. Does that make sense? If somebody unfollows me, that's who I pick through to also unfollow. because I don't want to unfollow somebody who follows me. Like, that's kind of like, unfriending somebody you're friends with, right? But if somebody's unfollowed me, I don't care to follow them either.
Exactly.
So there are little tips and tricks, but
Crowdfire. Okay. I'm looking.
yeah, Crowdfire. So anyway, I hope that helps your team, and thanks for letting me be on.
I was thinking, okay, I kept saying you were on the East Coast. You're not on the East Coast.
Oh, Portland. Nope, 7:40.
You are early. You're in Pacific time. I was like, I don't know why I had that in my head. I don't know.
There's Portland, Maine. I'm in Portland, Oregon.
Okay, awesome. Well, hey, that was an awesome call. Gave lots of great information, and I can't wait to bring it back and share it with my team. So I appreciate your time, Rachel. And I just think you're an amazing, sweet lady. And I love following you. And you're always bright and cheery and positive. So see, there you go.
Thank you so much. Well, clearly you have an awesome team, and I hope that this is helpful. If they have any questions, just, compile them and then shoot me an email and I can help answer questions.
Absolutely. All right. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Sounds good. You have a great night, and I will talk to you later.